everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's Kelly here from spiritualawakeningsigns.com, and I am delighted to be doing another class. I really love doing this stuff for you guys. If you don't really know who I am, I'm from Spiritual Awakening Signs, and I help people like you who are going through the spiritual awakening process to move through it a little more easily and hopefully reduce some of those challenging symptoms in the process, which can be done. It doesn't have to be as hard as it might be right now. And today we've got an action-packed class. It's going to be a pretty big deal. So we're going to cover why you're stuck, why you might be stuck in your awakening, if your energies are blocked, why they're blocked, and also I'm going to give you a little formula to help you work out where in your body they're blocked. So by the end of today's class, you're not only going to have that understanding, but you're going to be able to identify for yourself where those blocks exist in your system, and it's really, really easy to do. So don't worry about it. I've got you, and I'm going to take you right through this whole thing. So just want to be able to say hi to anyone, so feel free to pop up a little comment and I'll give you a shout out. Let me know who you are and where you're watching from. It's a kind of dark day here in Scotland. It's not great weather. Not unusual for us. Hi Judy, thanks so much for joining us. Hi Sarah, I saw you in the little comments box. I knew you were coming, so thanks so much for joining us. It's so lovely to connect with you guys. I love doing the live videos, and I really appreciate that you come to join us. Hi Rashawn, good buddy of mine. Rashawn's here too, that's good. Okay, cool. So I'll say hi to people intermittently when I can in between, but I want us to get right into the material today. Hi Shalane, how you doing? I want us to get right into the material. I want us to learn as much as we can, and I want us to start putting this into practice so that you can really identify where those blocks are in your system, because you don't need to go to a psychic, you don't need to go to a healer. There's nothing that you need that you don't already have within yourself as you're going through your awakening. You just need to be shown kind of how to read the manual of your body and your soul and what it's trying to tell you right now. And that's what we're going to do. So let's start off by talking about why you're stuck in your awakening and why you can't move forward. And it's a common theme. You're not alone. If you feel that you're coming through awakening and you start to question if you're moving forward at all, or knowing that you're stuck and not being able to move forward, that's not uncommon. It's something that we all go through, and it's something that we can tangibly sense. We're aware of the fact that we're not moving forward, and we're aware of the fact that there might be some obstacles in our way, that we should be moving further ahead by now. It's kind of nagging in the back, like a little voice. We know when we're meant to be moving forward. But if you're feeling like you're stuck, if you're feeling like you can't move forward, or you feel like you're not progressing, really it comes down to one simple reason. Really, really simple. It's the theme of the whole day and the whole class. It means that your energies are blocked. Okay, so if you're not moving forward, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're repeating patterns over and over and over again, your energies are blocked. Okay, and it's nothing to fret about. It might sound a bit scary, but no one really gets through awakening without discovering lots of blocks in their energy system. I had them, I still have some, everyone has some. If you didn't have those blocks, you would reach enlightenment within seconds, okay? Which is a bit heavy. So don't be afraid or upset if you think, oh gosh, I've got blocks in my system. That's okay. We can do something about that, and that's what you're here to do, okay? So the thing is that we're carrying a lot of old issues. We're carrying a lot of old pain from past lifetimes, because we've been doing a hell of a lot of learning as we've been coming through this process. And what happens is that all those old issues from your past lives actually block your energy. So we know that there are energy systems in your body. They're moving all different directions all over your body, inside your body, and even extending out past your body. The energy field is a big thing, okay? So there's all those energies moving around in different ways, and it's the issues from our past lives and from our past experiences that are actually blocking the way. They're stopping that energy from moving through the system. So you might have seen in one of the videos that I did kind of last year, we were talking about, you might have heard this term, the Kundalini rising. So this is where the energy tries to move up through the system. This is the whole point of awakening, okay? The end goal of awakening is to get your system to such a place that the Kundalini energy that starts right at the base of your spine, okay, that's the root chakra, the very bottom chakra, it wants to get the energy to be able to flow from your root chakra right through the center of your being, past your spine, along the spine, hitting all those chakras on the way up, and then having that clear connection directly to source. So that means that when you have that completely clear connection that's coming up through your center and straight up to source, or God, or the universe, whatever you want to call that, that means that you have not only a clear channel to the divine, so you can ask for guidance, you can be led, but it also means that you become a vessel to accept guidance and wisdom and connection from above. You feel safe, you feel supported, you know that there's a force there that's got you, that you're a part of, and it also makes you become a channel for this energy. So you can become that complete open channel for that white light vibration to come through you in whatever form it is. For me, it's spiritual awakening stuff and writing and all that, you know. For other people, it might be healing or leading or teaching. There's lots of different things that are coming through. But that's the end game of awakening, to get you to the point where your energies flow completely freely up through the centre, through every chakra, straight to source. Clear connection. It's your birthright. It's meant to be that way, okay? But what's happened is, through our past lives, we've had a lot of traumatic experiences. We've had a lot of uncomfortable situations, we've had a lot of pain, and it blocks the way. It blocks the way. And 3 specific things happen when your energy hits a block. So I want you to listen to these and recognise if any of these are happening for you, so that you'll know for sure if you've got an energy block going on in your system right now. Okay? So 3 things happen when your energy hits against a block somewhere in your body. When it hits against a block, it affects your emotions, it affects your physical body, and it affects your energy body. Okay, 3 different ways: emotions, physical body, energy body. And I'm going to break these down so that we can understand a bit more about what symptoms that would bring up, because I know that you'll resonate with them. So first of all, we're talking when that energy hits against a block, so when it's trying to come up, the Kundalini's trying to come up through, when it hits against a block somewhere along that line of your spine and your chakras, it can affect your emotions. So that's where we get things like crying, depression, angry with the world, feeling triggered for no reason. Okay, so this is when, you know, maybe you wake up and there's just anxiety there. You wake up in the morning, you're like, what? Why do I have anxiety? I've literally just woken up. You know, I had a good sleep. There should be no reason for that anxiety to be there. It's there because the energy has tried to flow up and it's hit against the block and it's opened up all this anxiety, okay, all the emotion, the negative emotion. Or it could affect your physical body. So then we're into things like aches, pains, fatigue, illness, health complications that you didn't have before. So for me it was recurrent throat infections. Oh, I had so many throat infections, it was awful. Chest infections, physical complications, so you could end up with, you know, sore shoulders, aching joints. We had a lady last week who was talking about having pain in the wrists and the hands. So this is it manifesting in a physical way. Okay, so if you're noticing things like this that weren't there before, that are recurrent or that keep cropping up and you just can't quite get a handle on them, can't get a diagnosis on them, like chronic fatigue, that's one of the signs that your energy has a block. The third one is it affects your energy body. So this is when we get into the stuff that can really make you question your sanity, because I went through it. You get some weird feelings when you're going through spiritual awakening, stuff that you can't really explain. So a sense of energy burning, aching, it might be kind of painful, crawling, tingling, you know, all these funny sensations, vibrating. We get a lot of really, really weird feelings as we come through awakening. That's one of the signs. So if you resonate with any of those things, particularly things that come on very quickly, okay, so we're looking for something that's quite abrupt. You just wake up and it's there, or suddenly you're like, I don't know why I'm crying, I don't know why I feel anxious, this has just happened, okay? That would indicate that the energy is trying to move up through your system, it's hitting against the block, and it's creating one of those 3 symptoms, okay? So if you're resonating with something like that, that is so valuable for you to be able to recognise that, and I want you to take note of it and be aware of it, because it's going to allow us to actually get healing further down the line as we continue this teaching. Okay, so really important to recognise any of those three kind of umbrella symptoms, the affecting your emotions, affecting your physical body, affecting your energy body, you've got a block in your system. Okay, so this far in the video you should be able to identify, do I have a block, yes or no? And as a little hint, that I have never come across anyone who had no energy blocks at all. Okay, we all get something, particularly during awakening. For me, it was all heart chakra stuff. So, you know, I went through about 2 years. Doesn't have to be that way. There's things we can do about that. But for me, before I learned all these techniques, went through about 2 years of just sometimes getting up and having excruciating burning heart pain for seemingly no reason at all. It would be burning, it would be aching. Sometimes it was on this side of my chest, that side of my chest. It was all heart chakra stuff. Okay, so the block, that's where we were experiencing the block. I knew I was blocked because I could feel that. Okay. So the reason that this is happening is that your soul is urging you to heal these blocks. It's trying to make you as aware as it possibly can. And if you don't listen, it starts to turn up the volume. Okay? So for me, the heart pain started off as just, you know, a kind of sensation in the heart, kind of warmth. And then as time went on, it became like burning. And then as time went on further, it became like shooting pains. It felt like I was being stabbed almost. It was so painful. But I knew that it was energetic. There was no point going to the doctor. I knew within myself that it was my heart chakra that the problem was with. So you need to listen to these things. Whatever in your symptoms is speaking really loudly to you, the thing that you can't get past, the thing that you can't ignore, your soul is saying, this is what I need you to work on. This is what I need you to heal, because we're not going to get further forward unless you deal with this now. Okay, so really, really important for you to take note of what comes up and when it's coming up for you. So please pay attention to those signals. They're not random. They're not an accident. They're not just a big mass, you know, a big mess. It's all really specific to move you forward in the awakening pathway, because I know that when you're going through awakening, particularly if you have all three of those different signs that your energies are blocked in your physical body, your energy body, and your emotions, it can feel like awakening has kind of just exploded on you, and it's just a big mess, and none of it really makes any sense. It's just anarchy, it's chaos, it's out of control. And that's actually not what's going on. What's really happening is that your soul is showing you what blocks you need to resolve. And when you're not resolving them, they keep backing up and getting louder and more intense. And it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you actually get to the point that you're completely overwhelmed. You don't know how to handle them. Okay? So there are things that you can do to move through that. And I can see Shalane saying, can we tap for these blocks? That's exactly what we're getting into. This is the good stuff. And I'm really excited to be doing it. Okay. So I hope I'm explaining this well. If I'm going too fast or you need to ask about anything, just pop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer the questions for you. I really want you guys to get a good solid understanding of this so that you can actually start moving forward, so you're not stuck in your awakening anymore, so that it's not a big mess and it's not all confusing. You can just keep on moving. Okay, so I'm actually seeing a little comment here from Becky saying my heart chakra burns almost constantly. If I pass highly charged things, she gets jolted like electricity from the heart. That's common. Yep, really common. And that's why this is a little bit different, because we're in healing at the moment. But that's why with the grounding stuff that I did before, I always said to people, stay away from spiritually charged items, crystals, oils, incense, yoga, you know, other energy healing practices. You need to be so careful. If you need to know about that, you can have a look at the site and some of our blog posts, but it will do that because it opens up that channel even wider and it ungrounds you. So everything starts coming up faster, everything comes up more intense. It's like putting your system into full throttle, full power. You don't want to do that. You want to stay nice and grounded, and you want to just deal with these blocks as they come up. And when you start doing that, they calm down. That's the amazing thing. It will literally transform your awakening experience when you start dealing with these blocks as they come up, because now you can identify them. You just start working on them, healing them. I'm going to cover how to do that. And it just gets easier and easier, to the point where when these intense emotions jolt you, or this weird energy sensation comes on, or you get a physical complication that comes up, you don't panic. Because that's what I used to do. Something used to come up and I'd say, oh God, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of it. What can I do? I'm stuck and no one can help me. And I would panic, out of control. I'd have lots of anxiety. I would cry under the covers and really feel so vulnerable. It doesn't have to be that way. If you have a tool in place that you know is safe, that you know works for spiritual awakening, you can start implementing that on a daily basis and working with your soul, so that as it's giving you the tools, as it's showing you, can you heal this thing here? We need to heal this to move forward. You can say, I'm on it. Give me half an hour and it will be done. Give me an hour and it's sorted. Okay, so it's about constantly working with your soul, stepping up and taking the other side on. Because your soul's working with the spiritual, you need to work with the physical so that they can bridge in the middle. You've got to pick it up. Your soul isn't going to do everything. You have to step up in your physical lifetime and take control to move forward and clear things. You need to help. Okay, so just noticing a little comment there that I'm just going to quickly address. So Retta says she's having base chakra issues. She's following the advice. She's removed crystals. Should she remove candles too? Everyone's a little bit different. I personally would say only remove things that have a spiritual charge to them, like crystals, oils, incense, anything that's designed to change your vibration. But generally, candles are okay. Usually it's okay, but test it out, see how you feel, and make sure you have a look, particularly if you're on YouTube, have a look through our previous videos, which were Transform Your Awakening with Grounding. It's a 3-part series, and it will really sort things for you, should really help. Okay, so let's see now. Now let's talk about what causes the blocks. So we've just kind of hinted at the fact that these blocks are caused by our past lives, but I want to really delve into that so that you've got an understanding of exactly how this works. Because if you really understand how it works, you can really easily start to make changes. You can move forward. You can do something about it. I have complete confidence in you. You can do something about it. Okay? So it's really simple. And it's the theme of the day, the theme of the video. The cause of all the negative blocks in your energy system. Ready? Negative emotion. Negative emotion is the cause of all energy blocks. Okay, through everything. I don't care where it comes from, what modality you're doing. When you really break it down and you look at, what caused it, what was the initial cause of it, is negative emotion. Okay, so what happens is we get a negative emotion. We end up with an energy block somewhere in the system. Like for me, it was in the heart. So maybe it was grief, maybe it was devastation, maybe it was heartbreak. But it created an energy block in my system, and then I developed the physical, emotional, energetic symptoms that let me know that it was there. Okay, it was time to heal it, and it was shouting loudly. I sure felt it. And that's also part of the design as well, because it makes sure that you can't run away from it. It makes sure, even though it sucks, that you're not going to fail to awaken, to move forward, and to really take control of this journey. It makes sure that everything's going to be okay. So that's the pattern it takes. The negative emotion, whenever it occurred, okay, which is probably past life, because anything you experience now happened before. This isn't the first time. It's happened before. Creates an energy block. And the energy block, as that energy starts to rise up, for me it was in the heart, could be anywhere. As the energy starts to rise up and hits against and tries to thrust through, it starts to kind of disrupt the issue and open it up. And you become aware of it. You start crying, or you feel burning energy, or you get chest pains, or it could be anything. It all starts coming up, okay? So it comes from past life pain. And it comes from past life pain because this has really been, it's really been a series of learning lifetimes for us. So we've been trying to learn a lot of different, really deep, meaningful things. We've been trying to gain wisdom. And we've been doing that through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We've had a lot of lifetimes. If you're going through spiritual awakening, you've had a lot of lifetimes, okay? So all those learning lifetimes. But this is the lifetime that's really special. Because this is the lifetime when what you're doing is a bit of a harvest, okay? It's kind of like finishing university. It's like, okay, I'm going to harvest all the wisdom out of everything that I've learned and every experience that I've had. And I'm going to release all the pain, okay? It's about taking in all the wisdom and making that a part of who you are. Making it something that really takes you to enlightenment, really is the right term for it. and letting go of all that pain so it's not with you anymore. And that has a real transformative effect. When you start taking in the wisdom and letting go of the pain, it aligns you with your purpose. It changes your point of attraction because there's not all that pain in your field resonating and drawing in other negative experiences. You're really, really clear. It's so transformative and it'll change your life. Okay, really, really powerful. So we know that that's what's going on. We know that it's come from past lives. We know that it's come from pain, from issues, maybe even belief systems, because we make up a lot of decisions about lifetimes while we're there, like life is a struggle, love is abuse, nobody cares about me. All these things are assumptions that we came to from past experiences. And we get a little bit muddled, and sometimes we carry them with us, so we're letting go of all of that. But the interesting thing is that now that you know that your energy is blocked, you can actually identify where it's blocked. You don't need to go to a healer, you don't need to go to a psychic, you don't need to ask, someone who does energy practices to work it out for you. You already know, because your soul is already giving you messages and showing you so simply where it is. You're not going to believe how simple it is when I tell you, okay? So if you're wondering where your energy is blocked, what you need to understand is that there are pathways all over your body. Okay, so those energy pathways that we were talking about exist in all different directions, in all differing ways, inside of your body and extending out past the body, okay? So technically it could be anywhere. And we're not just talking one block, we always have more, way more than one. These blocks are everywhere in your system and they're stopping you from that clear connection, okay? But the one question you need to ask yourself if you want to know where your block is in your system is as simple as, where is it? I know that's really uneventful. Where is it? Where do you feel it? Because that's where the block is, okay? So I'll give you some examples. So for me, the pain that I was feeling, the symptom that I was getting that was showing me where something was in my heart. It was in my heart chakra. So the block was in my heart. It's as simple as that. So if you are experiencing, let's just say, trying to think of a good example. Okay, so let's take the example from earlier. So you wake up in the morning and you've got all this anxiety. So you don't need to go into meditation. You don't need to go really deep within yourself. You just need to simply ask yourself the physiological question of, where do I feel it? Where is it in my body? And if you're feeling all this anxiety and you wake up and you notice that your stomach's a bit tight, you know that feeling your stomach all tightens up because you're anxious and you're worried? The block is in your stomach. Okay? We had a lady who was on the video last week and said she had a lot of pain. That was the physical manifestation of this. She had pain in her hands, in her wrists. So the block is somewhere here in the wrists and the hands. Okay? Your soul is showing you exactly where it is. It's as simple as that. So I know that Retta, you said in the comments that your anxiety is really overwhelming. Where do you feel it? Just notice, where do you feel that most? You know, if you feel depression, if it had to be somewhere in your body, how do you know you're depressed? Where do you feel it? Is it heaviness in your shoulders? Is it, tension in the head? Where is it? That's where your energy block is, and that is the key to you moving forward in this awakening pathway. Because when you know that your energy is blocked and you have a symptom that is showing you exactly where it is, you don't need to go to any healers. You don't need to go to any therapy. You just need to get cracking on what your soul is showing you. You need to step up and work with it to move through the block, which can be dissolved so easily. It is actually incredible. It'll just open up this whole new world for you. I love it. It's so simple. Okay, so always, 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 if you're wondering where your energy's blocked, just notice where you feel it. You don't have to go into a really deep state where you're focusing on it for a long time. Just instantly, where do you feel it? It's as simple as that. Where do you feel it? If you're crying, where's the crying coming from? It coming from your chest? It coming from your throat? It's as simple as that. Your soul is showing you everything you need to know. It doesn't get more complicated than that. Okay? So I hope that from this you're starting to think about some of the symptoms that you're getting and noticing that they're actually indicating blocks that are in your system. And if you can release those blocks, which we're going to cover how to do that, when you can release those blocks, that energy is going to flow so smoothly and so clearly that your intuition will become so clear and so reliable, and you'll feel connected and safe and grounded. It changes your whole vibration, and you're going to change your point of attraction. because all that negative stuff is out of your field. All those negative assumptions about life, all the bad experiences that you had that were painful, they'll all be gone. And all that'll be left is that lovely white light moving you forward, and just, you'll be emanating it. It's just such a different space to be in. It's really, really positive. Okay, so I think I've covered that. Just to go over that, because I want to make it a bit more easy to understand. It's very easy to resolve this stuff, okay? Really, really easy to resolve it. But there's also an aspect of it that says if you don't resolve it, you're going to stay stuck. Okay, hands down. If you don't step up, if you don't do something about it, if you don't take charge and start making a difference, start healing, start clearing, doesn't have to be difficult. But if you don't do anything about it, you're going to stay stuck. And that's when we get into territory where you speak to someone who says, I've been going through an awakening for 10 years, 20 years. I don't know about you guys, but no thanks. Like, I would like to have all the synchronicity and the beautiful experiences and the meaningful stuff, the psychic experiences, but I don't want to have to go through all the hard crap for a really long, expansive time. And it's not necessary for you to go through it for a long, expansive time. It's time to change it now. Okay, this isn't the end game. This is just the process to transform your energy so that you can go and do what you're supposed to do. It's not really a forever home here. This is just a temporary thing, okay? So what happens is you have traumatic past life, you have a bad experience. It creates the negative emotion, which creates the energy block somewhere in your system, okay? Which you know now because you can feel it. It's either physical, emotional, or energetic. You can feel it. If you've got a sensation, that's an energy block, okay? And that basically leads to being stuck in your awakening, because what happens is when you don't do anything about it, and it's not your fault because there's not a lot of guidance out there on what to do. So don't beat yourself up. We're working on it together, okay? But if you don't do anything about it, it creates a sort of a loop. It creates a pattern that will repeat over and over and over and over in your life. It's seeking to be resolved. It's a bit like a computer program, and your system will just keep playing the same program over and over and over again. And it's just asking for you to resolve it. So if there's a situation in your life that you're like, I can't believe this has happened to me again, or people always screw me over, I don't know why that keeps happening, or I always attract really negative, needy people and they never let me breathe and I feel completely overwhelmed. These are patterns, and they are there because there's something that needs to be healed. It's repeating over and over and over because you haven't resolved it yet. Okay, so this is another way that you can identify there's a block there, because it just keeps playing over and over and I'm sick of it. And what you'll also find is that quite often with these experiences, they're really highly charged. So if you get an experience where you feel the emotion doesn't really match the situation, maybe you're feeling a really intense anger, or you feel really broken down and devastated, and you feel like it's maybe a bit too intense, even though we're sensitive people, you'll get a sense of like, I feel like I'm reacting really strongly to this and I don't know why. It's because it's not the first time that this has happened. Anything that's happening in your life now has happened before, particularly anything negative. These are repeats designed to get you to unravel them, to resolve them, and to move forward without all that pain. Okay? So you're repeating these things frustratingly again in this lifetime, purely so that you can resolve them and move forward. Okay? But this is the thing, they will play over and over and over again unless you resolve them. So you'll get the same health challenges, like me with the sore throats and the chest infections. I didn't deal with it, so it went over and over and over again, to the point where I felt completely helpless, so vulnerable, so broken down, so afraid that I was going to catch anything else because it was completely out of control. It's all because it needed to be healed and there were things that I had to deal with. So you've got to deal with your stuff. If you want to move forward, you've got to deal with your stuff. And it's not hard to do. But you need to start stepping up and meeting this awakening halfway, because your soul's giving you all the answers. If you're not doing anything with them, then you can't expect to move forward easily. It's just not going to happen. Okay? Got to move forward. So now we get into the fun stuff. Okay? How do you clear it? So someone had said earlier, do we tap? Exactly, we tap. And I'm going to be teaching so much more on this because it's such a valuable tool. So if you haven't heard of it before, it's called EFT tapping. And EFT actually stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. Okay, it's literally for releasing emotions. And it's an energy healing modality. It's way ahead of its time. I've used it for a long time, amongst others. And basically what it involves is you're going to be tapping on different points around the physical body that are acupressure points. So these are ancient acupressure points. And they're not complicated. It's the same points every time. You tap on those points. And what you do is you tune into the thing that you're trying to clear. So for you guys, you would be tapping on specific points and you would be thinking about and focusing on the block that you have. So the emotion, say it was sadness, or the physical complaint, maybe it was fatigue, or the energy complaint, maybe it's burning in a chakra or something like that. You would be focusing on that while you're tapping on these points. It doesn't get any more complicated than this. That's it. Really, really simple. You're tapping through the points. But what that tapping does is, not only does it start to affect the nervous system in this lifetime, okay, so it's actually affecting your physical body. It's turning down the stress response. It's sending a calming signal to your nervous system to say, everything's okay, you can let this go. It releases stress, but more than that, it affects your energy system too. And that's what you need. You need that double whammy that's saying, okay, we're working on the physical body, but we're also working on the energetic body, so that you've got those two halves, okay? And that'll save you a lot of time moving forward, because that means that as you heal this lifetime, you're healing past lifetimes too. Like, mind-blowing. It's a double whammy, and it's so cool. But it is, without a doubt, the most valuable thing that I ever learned, ever. And I'd never gotten through my awakening without it. It's really easy to apply by yourself, and you can use it on any symptom that you've got in awakening, okay? Absolutely anything that you've got. So the great thing about it is you can learn it in like 10 minutes, and I've created a free course to help you do that. Easy peasy. You can learn it in about 10 minutes, the basic method. You can apply it to yourself. So you can use it for any emotional feeling, any energetic feeling, any physical complaint, even if it's a real concern, if it's a physical complication, you can work on it. An injury, you can work on it. Can't sleep, you can work on it. It gives you the empowerment to be able to do something about these symptoms that you've got, okay? Also, the fact that it's easily self-applied means you don't need to pay money to go and see healers, to go and see counsellors, to go and get therapy, to go and get healing. You don't need that. Your soul's already showing you what it is. Just get to work. Just deal with it. And this technique's going to allow you to do that. It's really, really simple. It works really fast. So you can work on emotions, feelings, any of the symptoms you've got, any of the blocks that you've got, and you'll feel better generally in just a couple of minutes. It'll start to move, it'll start to shift. It's really pretty powerful. It starts to resolve really, really quickly. So this is particularly helpful for people who are going through awakening and have a lot of anxiety or even panic attacks. I know for me that was a big deal. If you can just learn those tapping points, which takes literally about 10 minutes, if you start having a panic attack or an anxiety attack, even if you are crying your eyes out, you can tap through those points and you'll feel it start to lift. You'll feel your system start to calm, and it will release that stuff at the same time. Because what it's essentially doing is, as you're tapping these points, it's taking one issue that's really, really big and reducing it down, releasing until it's gone. And when it's gone, your vibration has changed. Okay, you've actually changed the vibration in your field, and you've changed your point of attraction. So not only are you healing within, it's being sent out as well. It's changing what you attract into your life and what you're capable of being in alignment with, because there's no negative stuff holding you back anymore. It's literally dissolving those blocks, taking bricks down. It's resolving them. So it'll clear things quickly, but it'll clear them easily. So you don't have to re-experience any trauma. Please don't go there. If someone says, let's re-experience stuff, let's, go into that space and really feel it. No. You don't have to do that. You can do it really gently, and you can do it really easily, and there probably will be some crying. I did a lot of crying in my awakening. Not a bad thing. But the point is that if you do that while you're tapping as well, you're actually releasing the emotion. So you're releasing the emotion, it's getting better, you're calming down. So it's quick but gentle and easily self-applied. The cool thing, like I mentioned before, is that it's going to heal this lifetime and the past lifetime. Because like I said, nothing you're experiencing now, nothing negative that you're experiencing now is happening for the first time. It's already happened before. In fact, it's probably happened a million times before. So if you can use this with the tapping, you're dissolving the emotion in it this time around, in this physical lifetime. You're releasing the stress, so you feel so much better about it. You feel calmer, you feel at ease. But while you're doing that, it's affecting your energy system. So the pattern that has created, where it's happened in a lifetime before, means you're actually healing the past life while you're working on this one. I mean, to me, that's just insane that, you can have that kind of double effect. It's like time travel. You can basically heal both at the same time. And that's much more powerful than going to someone who only does spiritual work, because then you're going to have to deal with the physical. Or going to someone who only does physical work or talk therapy, because you're not dealing with the spiritual. And you're going to end up having to do double the work when EFT can actually half it for you during awakening, okay? Most importantly, it grounds your energy. So like I said before, there are quite a lot of therapies that I would say do not go anywhere near them when you're awakening. Not because they're not good. There are so many modalities that are amazing. I mean, I'm an energy healing teacher and trainer, and I teach people to do these things. And there are lots of energy healing techniques and things that I use. Lots of different ones that I've learned over the years that are so close to my heart, and I love them. But what I found was that during awakening, they were not appropriate, because what often happens is it's too stimulating, too charging for the system, and all it does is unground you, make your energy more intense, make the symptoms more intense, make the healing issues come up much faster. It can trigger spiritual emergency, so please be so careful. The only thing that I would advise you use is EFT tapping, because it's going to ground your energy, so you're going to feel calmer and more settled in your body as you work as well. And of course, it heals issues permanently, so you don't want to work with something that you're going to have to go back and revisit lots of stuff or keep going over the same issue over and over again. Doesn't mean that in one session you're going to heal every single thing. Sometimes you need to revisit things a few times, but it's very fast and it will be permanent.